Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. We welcome the Honorable Prime Minister, Roosevelt Skerrit. This morning, we also have a full house of government ministers. Thank you so much for coming. The Cabinet Secretary, Ms. Prevost, the Financial Secretary, Ms. Edwards, and Mrs. Henderson, the PS in the Office of the Prime Minister, as well as other permanent secretaries, members of the media. Good morning, everyone. As you know, Prime Minister Skerrit just last week concluded an official visit to the People's Republic of China. This morning, he will provide an update and take questions on other matters from members of the media. Please welcome the Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all present, especially the media, and of course, the viewing and listening public. Morning, everybody. Happy to be here. And of course, thank you all for being present. First, let me join in extending condolences to the family and friends of Mr. Elias Juppie on his untimely passing earlier this week. I extend special words of comfort to his cousin, the Secretary to Cabinet, Ms. Prevost, as well as to you, the members of the media fraternity, who would have collaborated with Mr. Juppie over the years. He was a bright, promising talent who worked at the Electoral Commission as Information Officer, and most recently as Investment Promotions Officer at Invest Dominica Authority. My thoughts are with his wife, son, and immediate family, who are devastated by his passing. May God's comforting grace be with you during this period of grief. May his soul rest in eternal peace. I also extend condolences to the family of the young man who lost his life due to a motorcycle accident over the Easter weekend, and wish speedy recovery to his friend who is recovering from injury at the hospital. I want to extend to his father and to his mother our special regards, and of course our thoughts and prayers are with them. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate young Addison James of Marigot for cupping the bronze medal in the under 20 boys javelin at the just concluded Character Games held in Grenada. I commend Addison for his exemplary work ethic and wish him continued success in his athletics career. Commendations also to the entire team which represented Dominica at the Character Games, including the coaching staff and reporter Carla John Baptist, who traveled with the team and kept us informed, sprint by sprint, you know. So I want to recognize the efforts. As you are aware, on the invitation of the government to the People's Republic of China, I led a delegation on an official visit from March 20th to 26th to mark the 20th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries. I wish to formally thank President Xi and Premier Li for the gracious hospitality extended to my delegation by officials of the government to the People's Republic of China, and in particular, the staff of China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We received the highest level of consideration by all whom we interacted with, and had no doubt that we were among friends. The highlight of the visit was a meeting with President Xi on Monday, March 25th. We restated our commitment to the friendly ties which have existed between our two countries for the past 2 decades. President Xi and I agreed that our relations are a firm example of successful collaboration and a model for mutual respect between developing countries. China is a true friend of Dominica, and President Xi reassured me of his government's intent to maintain and strengthen ties and explore further cooperation in areas of economy, education, health, and infrastructure. As you would have heard from news reports, President Xi expressed appreciation for Dominica's steadfast friendship and said he was willing to work with us to develop fresh strategies to increase cooperation and deliver sustained benefits to our peoples. I welcome these expressions of friendship and cooperation and pledge Dominica's commitment to fostering an even deeper alliance with China and expanding our economic links in new areas such as tourism, e-commerce, and renewable energy. We also held similar discussions with Premier Lee to outline specific areas of collaboration. Based on our discussions, I can assure you that Dominica will continue to partner with the People's Republic of China on major initiatives designed to uplift the lives and livelihoods of our citizens. These include, among others, the road from the new airport, that's the international airport, to Portsmouth. As you can well imagine, that road project is a substantial cost. Just imagine from Lubidi to Bacatel is $171 million. So you can do the maths with 20 bridges to be constructed from the new international airport to Portsmouth. We have also received confirmation that assistance will be provided to construct a cultural center for Dominica. And this will include space for performing arts and other entertainment aspects, including fit for purpose or built for purpose or designed for purpose theater, a movie theater, among other things. And of course, we'll talk about the Arakosa culture on this. And a pledge of over $27 million for interventions to go towards budget support and government initiatives to be determined by the government. And I intend to assign part of that money to commence the future housing program in Warner to address issues of housing among the new middle class of young professionals in Dominica. We also made presentations for assistance to construct a new cruise and cargo port, and we will follow up on these with the necessary submissions. In other matters, the government ministers visiting China signed 10 agreements and memoranda of understanding with the government of the People's Republic of China for 1, Phase 9 of the Agricultural Technical Cooperation Project. We've just concluded Phase 8. We're moving to Phase 9, additional funding being made available to advance the technical cooperation between Dominica and China. So that's very welcome news for the farmers and the agricultural sector in Dominica. 2, the construction of the Collio River Wall, home repairs and construction of modern toilets to come full circle with the elimination of pit latrines in Dominica. We still have a few left in Dominica, and we shall eliminate this hopefully before the middle of 2025. 3, handover certificates for the Agricultural Science Complex building in 1 Mile Portsmouth. 4, economic and technical cooperation between the government of the People's Republic of China and the government of Dominica. 5, cooperation plan between our two governments on jointly promoting the Belt and Road Initiative. 6, strengthening development cooperation and promotion of the implementation of the Global Development Initiative. 7, consideration on green and low carbon development between the National Development and Reform Commission of the People's Republic of China and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Dominica. 8, exchange and cooperation in the field of economic development between the National Development and Reform Commission and the Ministry of Finance of Dominica. 9, news cooperation between Xinhua News Agency of China and the Government Information Service of Dominica. And 10, an MOU between China Media Group and the Government Information Service of Dominica. The official visit also provided an opportunity to meet with potential investors to pitch ideas for sustainable business ideas in Dominica. The Minister for Finance, Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre, and the Minister for Tourism, Honorable Dennis Charles Pemberton, made presentations to several business leaders and investors outlining opportunities in tourism, renewable energy, agriculture, and e-commerce. There is a high interest in exploring business and investment opportunities here, and we will pursue these aggressively in efforts to open new gateways to economic growth. I also addressed the Boer for Asia Forum, where I urge leaders to adopt a collaborative approach to addressing common global challenges, such as climate change and economic inequality. Our visit culminated in Shanghai, China, which has a reputation for rapid development in foreign trade, investment, and industry. I met with the Vice Mayor to discuss possible collaboration between Shanghai and Dominica, specifically in business and industry. Again, we have every intention to follow up on these valuable links established during my official visit to China. Once again, I extend thanks to our host, including the Ambassador of the Commonwealth of Dominica to China, His Excellency Martin Charles, who I believe did an exceptional job in preparing for this official visit to China, and to Dominican students for their hard work and showcase of Dominica's culture to a Chinese audience. And I was very much impressed with the high level of professionalism and commitment to our country displayed by the students, some of them who have completed and some of them who are still studying in China. It really touched my sensibilities in terms of their own maturity and professionalism. And so I commend them. They all certainly made us very, very proud in China. I assure you of our continued commitment to working with China. China is the leading trading partner for over 60 countries in the world, all of whom are major economies around the world. And of course, China is an important player in international affairs. And it's important for us to continue working with them to our mutual benefit. I will end here and to allow you to ask of me any and all questions which you have for me this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister, for what I'm sure we'll all agree is a comprehensive summary of the official visit to China. However, the Prime Minister is open to your questions on that and other matters. Carlisle? Mike?
No, but one of the questions being asked is, did you discuss the ongoing war in the Gaza with China, and whether or not you urged Beijing to play a role in ensuring an end to did China have to say, if that was discussed as it relates to that? My next question is, going to deal with sports. Yes, you mentioned congratulations to the young boys and girls. Indeed, they did an exceptional job and they represented Dominica. But one of the burning issues is the track. I'm of the firm view that if Dominica had a track, we would have fared much, much better. How much work is government, or does government intend to do as it relates to that, and how quickly can that be done to assist our young athletes to enhance their true potential?
That is occupying the minds of every country in the world, Dominica included, China included. China is a permanent member of the Security Council. They also have a veto vote. You would have seen that the last matter which went to the Security Council last week, China supported the resolution. Also, the United States did not object to it, which was a welcome move by the United States and admired by all of us across the world. The reality is the situation in Gaza has to be brought to some end. It cannot continue. And so every country in the world, I believe, is seized with this matter. So while we did not discuss it specifically, but we did discuss global issues affecting the world, and of course that would have been captured in it, and urge China to continue to play its part in ensuring that it uses its position in the UN Security Council to advance world peace, to advance prosperity, to the world. And so we hope that China will continue to play its part to make its voice heard in the UN Security Council in regards to the situation in Gaza. I welcome also the telephone conversation between the President of the United States, His Excellency Joe Biden, and the Prime Minister of Israel, where the United States has made certain demands of Israel in respect to addressing the situation. And so we look forward to some movements following the telephone conversation between the United States President and the Prime Minister of Israel. But it is a matter that is occupying the minds of every single citizen and country in the world. In respect to track, I agree with you that the track is certainly crucial for Dominica. It is a matter that as a matter of fact, the South will have been a meeting this morning. It postponed later down. So we are advancing this track. This is another priority for the government. We have identified, as you know, the location for this track based on the soil testing there. That's in Point Rung, and we have to move with the final acquisition processes for this track. You know that the International Athletic Association has given some commitment to the DOC here and to the Dominica Athletic Association for some limited funding that will go towards this track. So we're looking to partner with the DOC and the Athletics Association through Mr. Brendan Williams will be leading the process along with the president of the DOC on this matter. So I'm very confident that very soon one will see some movements, physical movements where this track is concerned. This is in our view, this is the only missing, or one of the few missing points where sports is concerned in terms of the government's investments in sports in Dominica. And so we look forward to completing and coming full circle with our investments in sports in Dominica. But I agree with you entirely that having a synthetic track, having our children, our athletes exposed to these facilities will place them in a better position to be able to compete globally. Because we do have the raw talent, we do have the capacity. I think the next push is really to provide them with that facility, and we hope that they can make use of this facility to really get them to the next level. Thank you.
Prime Minister, good morning to you.
Yes.
EBS Radio. My first question is, you made reference to a new cultural center to be funded by China. Any idea where is that cultural center going to be located? And what is the future, as I speak about this new cultural center, what is the future of the Arog House of Culture? I know reconstruction has been underway since Hurricane Maria in 2017. So where is the future of this? My other question, Prime Minister, has to do with plans for a sports council and sports policy for Dominica. Sports council and sports policy have been on the cards for Dominica for several years now. And at the center of this, by the way, at the center of this would be time off for national players to represent Dominica. Can you give us an idea where this is at the moment as far as the government is concerned? Where is this? And water rates. Will we see an increase in water rates for Dominica in 2024? I'm sure we'll have another round to ask a few more questions. Thank you very much.
But we have, in respect to the location for the new cultural center for Dominica, we have some options. I intend to meet with some cultural enthusiasts very early next week. As a matter of fact, I've spoken to a couple of them since my return from China. And so that we can solicit the guidance on which they believe would be the better location among those that we have. And also to have a committee established made up of both government and non-government individuals to really oversee the implementation and construction of this cultural center for Dominica, to ensure that we capture all of the elements that they believe should be in this cultural center for Dominica. Because sometimes, it's good to get people who have an intrinsic desire for these things to be part of this process, rather than people who are only extrinsically motivated. So some. I tell people passion is 80% of work, and physical stuff is 20%. And so we need to get people with greater passion to advance those things, and to help the country advance those aspects. So we intend to do that. And so we'll finalize the location. In respect to Iraq, as you know, I've expressed my views about Iraq. I believe that the Iraq should have been reconstructed from foundation to roof. Sometimes when you tamper with old buildings, as you go along, additional problems arise. Just as the Catholic Church with regards to the cathedral. I mean, they went and did the roof and then found out that there has no foundation. They have to do whole new foundations, then do foundation and something happen. And anyone of us who fix an old house will understand that the more you fix, the more you see problems. Sometimes it's just better to break the house down and rebuild it. But in Dominica, sometimes people don't like to break things down and rebuild things. There's something called restoration, and people forget that there's things called restoration. We've restored the carpets. It was broken down, we restored it. So I think sometimes that we are, just like the library. Nobody wants me to break down the wooden structure on the library site. We would have built a modern library many years ago. But there are people who believe that those things have to stay and so on. I could have used some of the wood, I could have used some of the stones as part of the new library so that the historical elements of it would have remained. So that's the problem you have with the Iraq. So the audio system was procured and seats, stage rebuilt, all the internal works completed. Then I'm being told that we may need a new roof for the Iraq. To go and break this down and to go and build a roof, then I'm sure they're going to tell me, well, I need rig beams because when Mitchell's building, they did not build proper ring beams. I don't know whether the new roof can sustain the new roof. And even in regards to parking, yes, when Mitchell's built it in the 80s or what, it was good. It was Rosewood didn't have many vehicles, and there's a few cars we had in Dominica now. Everybody has 3 cars at the home, and so forth. And I think that we should have, that was my view, but not everything the government does I support, so sometimes some of these things happen. And this is one of them. But I have a different view from many people and so on. So I might be sometimes of the, so I believe that this building should have been reconstructed, but they say let us repair it. It could be repaired, and I agree to repair it. Now we have all sorts of complications with it.
So will it be ready for use this year?
Well, I'm being told that we will get costing and designs for the new roof, so I'm waiting for that. So I'll follow up on this. But the reality is, fixing these old buildings that have been there for 30, 40 years, you'll have problems. And so I understand and appreciate the anxieties of those who have expressed themselves, and I've heard them, and I agree with them. With the sentiments that some of the cultural enthusiasts have expressed. I'm a cultural enthusiast. I mean, I dance cordial and heel and toe and mazuk since in primary school, in grade 6, grade 5, on to secondary school. So I'm still, so I understand and appreciate the need for us. This is why in the new cultural center we'll include the elements for really. To hone the talents of the young people in dancing and other art forms, in modern facilities, so that, but trying to put new with old and so on sometimes that doesn't mesh at all. And so the more you fix an old building, the more something happens, and you change this and change that, and so this is what the Iraq has been suffering from. Obviously, there were some delays in construction and other things and so forth, and procurement of items and etc. But those things we have passed those points. And the last visit there, based on the report I received, is that we now have to look at building a new roof. And of course one can understand the sheer cost of building a new roof. Okay. So we'll wait on this and we'll see how it goes. In regards to the Sports Council, there have been some progress made, but not as fast as we would like. I believe in this thing sometimes it's better to assign somebody or a couple of people exclusively to these matters and get it done in 6 months. The reality is if you have to rely on public servants who have all other things to do as the day goes by, then sometimes this thing gets lost in the mundane issues and the new issues which come up. So I'm hoping that I will meet with the Minister of Sports and to urge that we assign somebody specifically to advance those issues. I think there was somebody who was done some time ago, but there were some issues there and so forth. So I think that's where we are with regards to that. But with regards to time off for national players, obviously you would have to pass a specific piece of legislation to address this. What we did, and that was done way back when I was Minister for Sports, we allowed public officers to go out with no difficulties to represent Dominica. As a matter of fact, Billy Doctor will tell you that there was once he had a problem with the permanent secretary, and I intervened and I put an end to it because he was having challenges in going out to represent Dominica as an umpire. It made no sense to me. And that was addressed. And so from since then, we have not had difficulties in allowing public officers time off to go out to represent Dominica. And I think that you don't need a piece of legislation for a private sector employee to appreciate and understand that somebody is going to represent Dominica. The person's employee is not going to bankrupt you if that person is given a week off to go and represent Dominica. So I think there has to be some sensibilities to, and also a sense of national pride and giving back to the society that is giving you so much, and so forth. But certainly that is one of the, in our consultations in the drafting of the sports policy back then, that was one of the main issues raised by sports organizations and athletes and sports enthusiasts, was the challenge that they had in getting time off from the employers to go out. And so this will be center to the reform and to the improvements to sports management and sports recognition in Dominica. And so this certainly is a matter that will be, but you will need parliamentary authorization for this. And so in terms of the new act, that certainly it's been captured front and center on this. And with respect to water rates, obviously, I have indicated over a year ago. So the record will show I indicated a year ago. There were some recommendations. There was a study done by the Caribbean Development Bank in looking at the sustainability of Duasco and what needs to be done to ensure and to continue providing clean, potable water to every single community and every single home in Dominica. We cannot negate the fact that Duasco has suffered